Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not really that limited on time, especially because we're in lockdown now. But it's just nice in the mornings just to like press a button or tell Siri to make you a coffee, and it's made. Like I just had to press one thing then, and it made me cappuccino. I got this thing. It's like a milk refrigerator that connects into the coffee machine, so I don't even have to like put milk in or anything, and just like leave it there, and then it just keeps the milk cold. So it's just so easy. But
S-
the Rocket does make a better coffee. So when I
si-
can be like every now and then I feel like, because I really like, I'm a bit bored of it now. Hold on a second. Yeah, Lily was just about to choke on something.
Where's Lily?
She's like, she's crying
She's
now.
crying.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, I can hear her.
It's so
She's not
good.
happy. So you can wake
I'm
up in
sorry,
the
yeah.
morning, roll over and say, "Hello." Yeah.
She's lately, like last week, she's going through like a real clingy stage. So you can't like leave her alone.
From dad
Otherwise
or
she just
mum?
like starts, well, more mum, but sometimes me as well. She walks around in this, like, I don't know if you can see from here. She walks around in like this little thing and just like sprints around. But now it's hard because like like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago she wasn't crawling yet. But like all of a sudden she's like able to crawl and she's able to pull herself up on stuff. So she's just like, you can't like leave her alone anymore. But she like pulls herself up onto the couch, and then like the other day she pulled herself up and then she fell backwards and smacked her head off the ground. So it's hard now. She's just like, you have to have eyes on her all the time.
Yeah. Oh, at least you're there.
Mm. Mm.
So you,
It's actually been good because like I saw her like crawling for the first time and all that kind of stuff. Because yeah, usually yeah, when you're, well, as you would know as well, like when you're away so much racing and everything, you miss out on a lot of stuff. And I was like, sure, I'm going to miss out on her walking and crawling for the first time. So it's nice that, yeah, I get to be here and see her like development every day. Because like every day is like, she just gets better and better and better. So it's nice to be here for that actually. And as well, I wasn't going to be here for her first birthday, but I'm guessing now I will be because it's on the 11th of June, so I don't think I'll be anywhere. So that's also pretty nice.
yeah, no Tour de France. Pros and
Yeah,
cons.
yeah. Well, it would have actually been during Tour of Belgium.
Oh, June, not July.
So yeah, yeah, 11th of June. Then I'm 11th of July, so I might be home for my birthday as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Is she growing up really quickly?
yeah. Unbelievable how quick she's growing up. Um, she just ran into Ryan's leg in the thing. She's just like so nosy and always wants to be up. It's hard work actually.
So is this a positive to come out of the current scenario? Or a massive positive in a way?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, it sucks that um, I don't get to race right now and don't get to train properly, and I'm kind of like locked inside and everything. But um, every other year and like in the past, I don't know, 5 years or 6 years, however long I've been pro, or even before that, I'm 23. It's just your life's always the same. You just racing, and then once you turn pro, you're racing the same races every year. My program like this year would be exactly the same as last year. So it's just like repetitive, the same thing every year, the same dates. You know, in July you're at the tour, in May you're at the Giro, January you're in Australia, you're doing Tour Down Under. So it's just like the same repetitive thing every year. Whereas now this is, I guess it's changed it, because now I'm not racing, I'm not training like I'm supposed to. But, you know, my daughter's only going to be, 10 months old once, or I think I'll probably be home from when she's 9 months to maybe 1 or 1 and 1 month. Now I get to be with her every day for those times, and they're changing so much during that time. So yeah, I think she's probably going to be developing the most during this time than she will, I don't know, ever. But so yeah, that's nice to be here and see her development and everything, whereas usually I wouldn't be.
So in terms of the whole situation, if you take the global pandemic out of it, you're doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it. Like, obviously I love being with my family, so this has just forced me to stay at home and spend time with them. So obviously, if I could choose, obviously I wouldn't want what's happening to happen, because there's obviously it's bad for the world. But yeah, for me personally, as long as I stay healthy and everything, and my family stays healthy, then it's actually been a nice time to spend together.
How have you found becoming a dad? 'Cause how old are you? You're
20, 25
year younger than me.
now. Yeah.
How is it?
It's good. It's how do I explain it? It's hard work, because you really don't get much lazy time, because you come home from training, or you come home from training, and then you turn into, I guess, being a dad, and that takes over most of the time when you're not training. So it is hard work being an athlete, and then also trying to take care of a baby as well, because as you know, after you train, you're not really up for so much. So it's hard work, but in saying that, it's more rewarding than it is hard work. So yeah, it's a big kind of life change, but in a good way. You don't, before, all I had to really think about was myself and what I was doing. And a lot of the time you get caught in the cycling bubble, and that's all you think about, and your whole life just revolves around just that. Whereas this gives you a bit more perspective, and I don't know, just changes you, I think.
Yeah. Well, and especially with what's going on at the moment, can you run us through, like, what's your day look like? How are you approaching this lockdown?
Well, if I run you through, like, I'd say typical day, well, like, my training varies, just like normal. Like, some days I'll have nothing. Like today, I'm not doing anything, no training. Whereas yesterday I had like 3 sessions. I had to do gym, I had to do a trainer session, and then straight after that trainer session, I had to do like sprints on like the road out front of my apartment, because like I'm not allowed to go far. So, and I tried to do sprints on my turbo, but then it wasn't really working. So then I was speaking to my coach, and he was like, all right, just try to go out on the road and then do them. So I literally, like, 200 meters up and down the street, just doing some like couple of second sprints, which isn't ideal, but
does it work?
It's better than doing it. Yeah, man, I can still do the sprints. So
what happens if you try and sprint on the trainer?
Well, I tried to do a sprint on the trainer the other day, and I think I was broke it. So it was like it wasn't moving anymore. So I was like, then after that, I called and I was like, I don't think sprints are going to work on here. And they were seated like big gear sprints as well. So if I was doing like a proper max sprint, I don't know if it would really work. And I like slips and stuff. So it's just hard to replicate like a real sprint. It was like on the road yesterday, I did 1600 watts. So I think on the trainer, you go from nothing to 1600 watts. Trainer like shit itself a little bit.
You'll blow up the power grid if you're on an e-race.
Yeah, maybe. I hope I don't have to do any e-races.
You're not a fan?
I'm terrible. No, not at all. I'm terrible at like, stuff like that.
Have you
I'm only
been?
good because I can hide and bunch and all that kind of stuff. Whereas in e-race, you can't really hide, can you? I don't know how it works with drafting and everything, but it's easier to draft on the road.
So you haven't been? Have you been using their e-sport apps, or have you been just doing like old school turbo kind of?
No, I use Zwift like every time I go on the trainer because it's good to actually kind of see something. But I usually do Zwift and then like watch a TV show or watch some YouTube or something as well, or listen to podcasts, which makes it kind of bearable. My coach's been pretty good with me. Like, he's not making me do too much. I think the most I have to do in a day is 2 hours, and it's usually probably split up between 2 sessions. Let's do like 2 1-hour sessions, or maybe like the most in one session is like an hour and a half. Like since Paris-Nice, I haven't done more than 2 hours of riding. But there's good news because I think yesterday the French government announced that they're going to let people out, I think on the 11th of May or something. So that means I should be able to go training, which is then like, I'm not stressed at all because there's plenty of time to get ready for the races. Like, best case scenario, I think my first race will be in the middle of July. And then my targets will stay the same because I think I still do the Tour de France. I don't know if I'll do the Giro because it's like 10 days between them or something, between the Tour and the Giro. But like, as normal, like the main goal of the year will stay the Tour. And if I get out on the bike on 11th of May, then it's almost too much time to prepare. So I'm not stressed at all. And I believe that the countries that have been actually locked inside and can't train outside will have the upper hand on the countries that were able to train outside, because I've seen guys training like full gas still. But usually the season ends in like end of September, really, the start of October, and now it's going to go maybe to the end of November. So yeah, I mean, if you're flying now, then there's not much point because they're not racing for another few months.
So overall, you've been toning it back a little bit, or a lot even.
Well, yeah, a lot compared to what I usually do. But in relative terms, like if I was 3 months out from the season start, which basically I am now, I mean, I wouldn't be doing more than what I'm doing now. Probably doing less than what I'm doing now. I probably wouldn't be doing anything. I want to call my coach now and tell him that I want to take the next 2 weeks off and then start training again when I can go out on the road, because you never take, I don't know how long, is it 4 months? What are we? April, May, June, July. Yeah, we're 4 months out from the tour. If I keep training, and then I'm actually worried I got too much time to train. So don't know what I want to do.
Treat yourself to a holiday. Well, a holiday inside.
Well, if we're allowed out on the 11th of May, then probably go on holiday.
Yeah. Have you been?
I'll try to go somewhere probably that I can train because I've been in my apartment, stuck in my apartment for like a couple months now. So it might be nice to go, I don't know, rent a house or something somewhere and have some space, some freedom.
Where would you go?
don't know. Like, it'd even be nice, like rent a house in France somewhere, or in Mallorca or something like that, where you can train well. Um, but I don't know. It depends on the situation and what's going on. Because I know France. I don't know, like, yeah, they're going to open the streets up for people to like walk around and everything, but I don't know if they're going to open hotels or if you can travel freely or what the goal is going to be. I don't really know the details of it, but I just think that we're going to be able to train, so that'll be good.
So Mallorca's actually good. Like what's the attraction?
Don't know, actually. It's just, well, no, it's just a nice place to go on holiday. It's more of a holiday place than a training place. But then a lot of people go training there because, they come from, so usually people go training there in winter. So they come from like Belgium or Netherlands or something where it's, super cold and rainy and snowy. And then there in winter, it's like 18 to 20 degrees. Like that's where we have our training camp every year. And sometimes you're out in like Nixon, Jersey in December. So I think it's like more the weather that attracts people there, because you wouldn't see many pros going there in summer, because everywhere is pretty good weather, and then it's super busy actually. So it's actually really like not a good place to go, I think, in summer for training. But in winter it's super quiet because there's no tourists around, and the training roads are good and the weather's really good. So I think that's probably the main attraction for the riders. But I want to go there on holidays.
What have you been watching on the turbo?
Just started watching the Michael Jordan documentary.
How good is it?
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, oh, it's really good.
Have you got the
I
whole
love
thing?
watching.
Have you got the
No,
whole
no,
thing
no.
there?
I only got the first 2 episodes. Well, but I love sporting documentaries. They'll kind of run out. It's like only kind of very few that you can watch. But what did I watch? I watched a TV series called The Staircase, which was weird. What else? I think that one went for a long time actually. But I don't even have time to like binge watch TV series, because by the time my daughter goes to bed, I eat dinner. I'm only up for like 2 hours, and then I go to sleep as well. I don't sit there and watch TV series with her about like murders and stuff. So there's only a couple of hours a day that maybe I'll watch TV, but then there's other stuff to do as well. So yeah, it's not that much time to like. I still get to the end of the day with my wife, and I'm still like, it's like there's not enough time in the day, which is I think a good thing. Like I'm never like just sitting around like, shit, what am I gonna do now? Like there's always something to do.
Do you think back to like first year or neo pro years, and go, if this was happening right now, things would be a whole lot tougher?
If this was happening when I was a neo pro,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because I was by myself in the studio then, like a studio apartment. So, I've been very, very bored. Like, I think if you're living by yourself, then this time could be really hard, because, like at least I have a lot of social interaction with my wife and my daughter. I think the people with kids are like super busy because, yeah, even if you have an older kid that goes to school now, you have to entertain your kids, and I think most of the parents will be kind of pretty tired, I guess, at the end of the day still, because unless you just like sit your kid in front of the TV and they watch TV or they play PlayStation or whatever, but if you actually have to entertain them, then I think it's pretty exhausting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good to chat.
Yeah,
Are we going Insta
So,
live? Are we going Insta live next week or this
yeah,
week?
we'll go Insta live.
All right, we'll get some
Yeah.
Q&A going.
All right.
All right, thanks, dude.
People sending questions and we'll answer them.
Yeah.
I think got any other news? Not really.